Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina has passed away. His office says he passed on after a brief but sudden illness. My condolences to his family. Now, people are going to say that I'm rejoicing in his death. No, I do not rejoice in the death of any man, even if he was a Republican, and especially if he was a Trump sycophant, as Lindsey Graham was. I do not take pleasure in the death of a person, no matter how much I may hate them. But I'm going to tell the truth about Graham. He was nothing more than a turncoat. He was a United States Air Force veteran, and he stood up for veterans. But all that changed when he became a politician, when he became a Republican senator. All of it changed. He used to stand for things in this country, and with the appearance of Donald Trump and the rise of Donald Trump, all of it changed. It changed because of personal power. At one moment, he said he was against Donald Trump. At another, he became a sycophant for Donald Trump. I'm going to show you a couple of clips, interviews with CNN displaying this. How he was against Trump, but now he's for Trump. Take a look.
Reaction to hearing what Donald Trump says.
And disgusted. Well, I want to talk to the Trump supporters for a minute. I don't know who you are, and I don't know why you like this guy. I think what you like about him, he appears to be strong when the rest of us are weak. He's a very successful businessman, and he's going to make everything great. He's going to take all the problems of the world and put them in a box and make your life better. That's what he's selling. Here's what you're buying. He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. He doesn't represent my party. He doesn't represent the values that the men and women who wear the uniform are fighting for. I've been in the Air Force for 33 years. I retired this June. He's the ISIL Man of the Year, by the way. Just got back from Iraq a week ago this Monday.
I know, we interviewed you live from there. You were with Senator John McCain, and you were going into Iraq to get a status report. What were they saying there about all of this?
The military leadership and the diplomatic corps. Now, we have young men and women in harm's way all over the world, particularly in the Mideast. They were concerned about this rhetoric because the enemy will use it against us. So what was a concern last week has to be DEFCON 4 this week. Because what Mr. Trump is doing, and I don't think he has a clue about anything, he's just trying to get his numbers up and get the biggest reaction he can. He's putting our soldiers and diplomats at risk. He's empowering the enemy. And this ban, if it's actually enacted, would take people who have been interpreters, who came to our side in Iraq and Afghanistan, who are under siege in their own countries, and basically becomes a death sentence for them. That he's a jackass.
Really?
That he's bringing his name down, and he's not helping the process, and he shouldn't be Commander-in-Chief. If you want to be Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, you need to understand that John McCain and all like him, not just John, are truly American heroes. And then when you put yourself in harm's way, that makes you a hero. But you know what I think makes you a hero? When you're the spouse raising kids when your loved one's deployed. I've been in the military for 33 years. It truly is a team and a family. So what he said about John, I think, was offensive. He's becoming a jackass at a time when we need to have a serious debate about the future of the party and the country. We're on the verge of giving an Iranian Ayatollah, who's a radical jihadist, a pathway to a nuclear bomb. The world is literally falling apart. We're becoming Greece here at home. And all we're talking about is Donald Trump and everybody he insults. But he's crossed the line here. There may be some frustration with our border. I get that. That's no justification for slandering on it. Huh?
What's the line he crossed?
saying that John McCain and people like him are not American heroes. The American people will not tolerate what he is doing now regarding those who have served. This is a line he's crossed, and this is the beginning of the end of Donald Trump.
Senator, you seem angry.
I am.
Calling Donald Trump a jackass, even if it is completely understandable considering what kind of a man Donald Trump is. Especially when you're insulting the service of a United States naval aviator just because you disagree with his politics. But the simple fact is, all that changed because of Donald Trump.
Lindsey Graham, Senator.
Thank you. Number one, Ken Martin is a worthless piece of crap. Can you imagine this guy fighting for freedom? To compare President Trump and the Trump regime to the Ayatollah means you got the worst case of Trump derangement syndrome in the world. Go to hell. President Trump is standing with people demanding their freedom. Why are these people in the streets this long? They believe Trump has their back. President Trump said, if they come after you, they got to go through me. If you thought Afghanistan was a debacle, it was. The only thing worse would be to entice people out into the streets against a brutal dictator and pull the plug on them. To anybody at the White House who thinks the Ayatollah would honor a deal to give up his nuclear ambition, you're a fool. Donald Trump is not a fool. These people are out in the streets because they believe in Trump. He's the first president since 1979 to pick the people over the Ayatollah. And the leader of the Democratic Party, you're sick, pal. Where are the Democrats? You cheer on Hamas, who wants to kill the Jews. Now you got people in Iran, like the Crown Prince, who want to be our friend. But because it may happen on Trump's watch, you're belittling the movement. These people are dying by the thousands. We're Americans. You know, if this regime falls, we're safer.
When you call out the character flaws of a man running for president, but change your mind when he says nice things about you, that shows that you have no backbone. And Lindsey Graham showed that he had no backbone. Instead of one of Donald Trump's biggest critics, he became one of Donald Trump's biggest defenders, acting more like a defense attorney for Trump instead of an American senator. I don't rejoice in his death, but I'm not going to sugarcoat what the man was, a turncoat. From a man who defended veterans and insulted Trump, calling him out in his character flaws and the kind of danger that he was, to becoming one of his biggest, staunchest defenders. Lindsey Graham was the walking embodiment of what would happen when power compromises conscience. Lindsey Graham may have had an accomplished life, but as a senator, he was undistinguished. Again, my condolences to his family. CTP, know truth, God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right. Don't forget to subscribe and share my videos.